Hey up, Rock God 2004 back with another video for you. I'm going to do the first 5 films that I've watched this week as part of the 31 days of Halloween. I was going to do individual videos, but at the time I never thought, and it was too late when I realised. So I think what I'm going to do is, I think I mentioned this in my last one, as I've watched 5, I'll give you an update on the 5 that I've watched as we go. So this started, 5-6 days ago then, on the 1st. So the first one I watched was The Prowler. This is such an underrated horror fest. This has got Tom Savini, who did all the special makeup effects. And some of them are absolutely brutal. There's a bit where, I'm not going to say who or when, but somebody gets something through the head and then the eyes just go white and it looks horrendous. Absolutely brutal. I think at the time, people were saying, and I do get it, it doesn't take rocket science to figure out who the killer is, but even so, it's such a great film. This is a Blue Underground release. It's not very often they do any wrong. It's just a single disc Blu-ray. It's got some extra features. I do have the soundtrack to that as well, but because it's not an individual thing, I won't bother with soundtracks. I'll just show you the films I'm watching. So yeah, that was my first one, The Prowler. Second up, Day 2 was Intruder. I remember when I watched this, not when I watched the film, when I watched the trailer originally in the 80s, that wasn't the title. I think I saw a trailer for it before it was made, or before as it was being made, and it was originally going to be called Night Crew. Now I remember seeing the trailer for it because I remember seeing Sam Raimi and Ted Raimi in it, and I thought, oh, I've got to see that. And for years I searched for a film called Night Crew, only by the trailer, and it was only years later I found out with this. In the end, I mean, this was long before computers, I had to Google it and say something about a horror film with Sam Raimi in a shopping centre, and this Intruder kept coming around. I do remember seeing Intruder in the video shops. I was thinking, no, it's not that, it's not that. It is it. So there you go. Love this film. I've seen this 3 or 4 times. It's just so entertaining. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend this one. If you get the Synapse one, which is what this is, you get a little old catalogue there. Spin that around. And you get the film on Blu-ray and DVD. 2 lovely picky discs. So yeah, I hadn't watched that one for a while. So I thoroughly enjoyed that when I watched that the other day. Such a good film. So yeah, that was for Day 2, and it's the director's cut, and that was Intruder. Day 3, I decided to watch something that I've only ever seen once and couldn't remember much about. I think this is classed as a sort of a classic, but I don't know, I've seen far better. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't amazing. Chopping Mall in England, Chopping Mall in the States. It's one of the early Vestron ones with the slip. Robots going haywire around a shopping centre. What else can I say? Nothing snazzy, just the disc. And it only goes on for hour and a quarter. It's really, really short. I thought it went on longer than that, but no. And I think it's got one of the lasses in it out of Night of the Comet, which Night of the Comet, which to me is another overrated thing. Well, anyway, that's me. Chopping Mall. Day 4, I've seen this loads and I absolutely love this film. I'm going to be doing a separate one on this as well, so I won't go into it too much. I've got some cracking editions of this, but this is the new 4K disc. It's not the greatest 4K I've seen, I've got to admit. But yeah, I absolutely love this film. It's Dead and Buried. With a lenticular. There we go. There you are. Yeah, this for me is just so different, and I have an absolute blast with this every time I watch it. I never get sick of it. It's such a fantastic film. Early effects as well, with Stan Winston, and he does an absolutely amazing job. And also an early appearance by Robert Englund in the film. Briefly, without trying to spoil it, there's this little town called Potter's Bluff, and it starts off with somebody visiting. I think he's a photographer and he's taking photographs, and he starts talking to this lass. As he's taking photographs, this mob descend, and what they're doing to him, forward for saying it was early 80s, what they're doing to him is absolutely brutal. And then things start happening to people who are visiting the town and stuff. I don't really want to go into it too much. You're better off watching it without knowing anything about it. It's one of them. Because I think if you know too much about it, it kind of spoils it. When I saw it, I didn't have a clue when I very first seen it. But it's so different, I think. Absolutely cracking film. And this is a gorgeous 3-disc set. You could get this with 3 different covers. There's the original cinema art, and then there was the other 2 were from scenes from the films. That was the one that sold out first. So you get, I mean, this is, for me, this has got probably one of the best poster arts I've ever seen. But you get that lovely booklet there, and then you get the film on Blu-ray. Sorry, you get the film on 4K, the film on Blu-ray, and the soundtrack on CD. You do get reversible art, but it's exactly the same. I think what it must be is the reversible art was that, and then on the front they give you the 3 different ones. So obviously if you got that, you've got it on both sides. That's the only thing I can think of anyway. But yeah, if you've never seen it, watch it and see what you think of it. Dead and Buried. And the last one, which I only watched yesterday, is in my top 5 favourite films of all time. And for me, it's the best anthology film ever made. Nothing comes close to it. And it's George Romero and Stephen King's Creepshow. 5 stories. My favourite one is the first one, Father's Day. And then there's The Lonesome Death of Jordy Verrell, and Jordy Verrell is played by Stephen King. Which is like, that is actually set out like a comic, the way they do it. The whole film is supposed to look like a comic, but when you're watching the Jordy Verrell one, it feels like you're reading the comic. The colours and the scenes in it are just fantastic. The third one is Something to Tide You Over with Leslie Nielsen. Love that one as well. The 4th one is The Crate, where you see Fluffy, that's all I'm saying. And the last one is the one about the cockroaches. They're creeping up on you. There's also a little bit at the beginning and at the end, which is like, it's somebody reading a Creepshow comic, and it's actually Stephen King's son. And Tom Atkins is playing his dad. And he takes the comic off him at the beginning and bins it. And then the bit at the end, it follows on and shows you what happens after that. So it's like sort of 5 full stories and a little mini one. 2 hours long, that is. What an absolute blast. And if you've never ever seen it, you are in for a hell of a time with it. And I reckon you are, because I absolutely love it. This is the best edition I've seen of it. The booklet you get in it. It's absolutely stunning to look at there. Photos, that's a cracker that. Stephen King, George Romero and Tom Savini all together. I love that photo. And I love this. The original UK quad. I'm going to do a separate video on this eventually as well. Do I have that? Two Evil Eyes. I've never read it, so I think that's another George Romero one, but I've got that as well. That's pretty good. Different art. I wasn't fussed on that. I think that might be German. I mean, normally you don't really get booklets with Scream Factory, but this. And then the Blu-ray, I did switch it around to the original US cinema poster. I wish they'd have done one for the UK VHS one, because I love that one. The alternate artwork was that one. And the disc, lovely, lovely picture disc again. I think they'll do a 4K this. I really do. I know they've done such a good job with this, and they don't always go. Normally, with Scream Factory, you normally get like a slipcase. This is like a slip box. We're talking sort of Vinegar Syndrome, Severin quality here. It's a stunning release. It's one of my favourite Scream Factory releases, that. So yeah, Creepshow. So up to now, I haven't watched today's yet. I don't know what I'm going to watch yet. So that's my first 5. The Prowler, Intruder, Chop 'Em All, Dead and Buried, Creepshow. I do hope you enjoyed that. And if you're doing this, if you want to leave a comment, let me know what you're watching and what you've watched so far. I'd be quite interested to see if like anything's similar or different or whatever. So yeah, if you're doing this, just let me know what you're watching and what you've watched. Yeah, that's about it. So thank you very much for taking the time out to watch again. Can't tell you how much I appreciate it. And I will see you again on the next one soon. Thank you very much, all 2 of you. Cheers.